at the right place at the right time. It's such a fortunate position for me to come in as the Director of Parks under Mayor Dean. It couldn't be under a better person. The Mayor Berry has some big shoes to fill, and as we move forward, though, with my experience with her over the past several years has been that she will follow a similar path. I want to thank TennGreen for all their efforts. Shane Dennison from my staff could not be here today, Kathleen, but you want to make especially thanks to you for everything that you've done. And this is just a great example of responsible government. The government working with neighborhoods and working with conservation groups to preserve something from now on, and to make sure that Nashville stays the wonderful place that it has been for my entire life. I'm a native Nashvilleian. I have been on the Ridge. I have been at the Falls. I probably was I had some friends that lived on Jocelyn Hollow when I was in high school. So I've been aware of this place for many years, and it's a wonderful place. And with what y'all are talking about with everything else, it could be a wonderful connection over to Warner Park and beyond. This is a great day. Thank you. I will point out, if you missed it as you walk up, there is a plaque on the boulder down on the path acknowledging the contributions of all the private folks that were involved in this. And I too want to issue my thanks to them for their involvement in bringing this gym to us to remain with us from this point forward. Thank you.
Transforming the view of Nashville as it relates to the environment. And he's built green space and protected Tennessee treasures throughout the greater Nashville area in that period of time that, frankly, people were mostly ignoring. It's just been spectacular for Nashville. You know, fortunately, he's married to Ann Davis, who provides the leadership in the household. But then he follows suit and does a good job. So he's going to share a few words with us today, and how grateful I am, and I know you are too, that we may be fortunate to be listening to one of his last addresses as mayor, one of the finest that Nashville has ever had, and he has nothing but wonderful things ahead of him. Mayor Karl Dean.
Here, here. Thank you, Bob, for that very kind introduction, and it's great to be here with Tommy and Mina. Congratulations on all your hard work, and TennGreen. Kathleen, you guys have just been wonderful in what you've done here in the city. I also want to recognize Berkeley Allen from the councils here. Berkeley has been just an incredible council member, and I feel so happy that she is back on the council again, wiser, and all this knowledge, and she's going to do fantastic things to the city. And I also want to recognize John Ray Clemens, your great state rep there in the back, and thank him for his involvement and everything good. Nashville is moving ahead at an incredible pace, and there's a lot of things going on here. And one of the things that I think I'm proudest of is the work we did with the Green Ribbon Committee and what we've done with the Open Space Plan. We've had a very ambitious goal, which is to become the greenest city in the Southeast. And I'm not saying we're there yet. I'm saying we've made a lot of progress, but the report's goals and recommendations, 93% are either been implemented or in process of being implemented. And the key one was the Open Space Plan. The goal we set was to acquire 3,000 more acres of open space by the year 2021. 6 years ahead of schedule, we have already conserved a total of 4,534 acres. We're on the right track, and that would not have been possible without the support and donations from our citizens, from private philanthropists, and from the Metro government. And I want to thank the council for their support in all of this, and also a great Metro Parks department that makes all of these investments work for the citizens in Nashville. And I particularly want to again cite TennGreen, which has been active in everything in helping us achieve these goals. I am so pleased that Metro is partnering with TennGreen to protect this natural area, this beautiful waterfall. And I have to say, I don't think this will be my last speech. I hate to disappoint you. But, you know, I got a whole week, so I got to keep talking. But this has got to be the most beautiful spot that I have ever announced an opening of something, a new project. This is just a wonderful spot. And coming from downtown, it's got to be 5 to 7 degrees cooler here, which is just a wonderful thing. So congratulations to everybody involved, and thank you all for your generosity and support in getting this done. Thank you.
She served as president and executive director since TennGreen's inception.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to Bob and to TennGreen and all the people who are making this possible, and to Mayor Dean for your lifetime of work that led you to Nashville, that got you to be our green mayor. Aren't we blessed to get to add all those acres of parkland to Nashville? I'm so grateful. I'm grateful on behalf of my little grandson who's here. I don't know if he's walking around. He's the little 2-year-old back there. But someday he'll be living in a great city, and it'll be because we have great parks. And thank you so much. I work for the Tennessee Parks and Greenways Foundation because I love beautiful green Tennessee, and our mission is to save Tennessee's natural treasures and link them in corridors, because when people visit destinations like this, their hearts are changed and they fall in love with the earth. And what people love, they want to protect. Places like we've protected at Cummins Falls, at Virgin Falls, are examples of treasures where people had their hearts changed and their lives changed, and mostly for the good of the world. And once upon a time, there was a young boy named Noah Charney, and he grew up here in West Meade, and he came to this waterfall where he fell in love with the earth. And later, as a young man, he proposed this arc of green to connect this corridor from Beeman Park to Bells Bend to Warner Park to Radnor Lake. He knows what we know at TennGreen and what we learned from Pulitzer Prize winner, entomologist, Harvard entomologist E.O. Wilson, that to save life on the planet, you must create large reserves and corridors. You have to do it that way. TennGreen believes in this, and we create corridors using conservation easements and through outright purchases to connect land. We're linking a 55,000-acre corridor at Fall Creek Falls to Virgin Falls, and along the Mississippi River from Reelfoot Lake to Memphis, and at Grassy Cove, a national natural landmark because it happens to be the biggest sinkhole in North America. And it's spectacular. It looks like Cades Cove. It's near Crossville. We're trying to save 1,000 acres there. And here in Nashville, our work is focusing on this corridor, this arc of green that Noah dreamed up, that's in the open space plan, and that before that was in only his heart, and because of these woods and this waterfall. Before Noah was even born, there was a man named Bob Brown, who's a well-known trail advocate, and many of us were friends with him and loved him. And he grew up here. And he was a trail historian and advocate, and he hiked these hills and hollers, and he's passed away now. But he worked his entire life to save Tennessee's natural treasures and historic trails. And when he died, he left TennGreen money in a fund so that we could purchase land and repay the loan and save natural treasures. And we borrowed from the Bob Brown Fund to purchase this waterfall, and I know he would be so blessed by that if he were here with us today. His heart was changed and his life's work was born from walking in these woods and hearing the good tidings from this waterfall, and that simple walk in the woods helped the world. This arc of green around Nashville is crucial for our woods, our waters, our wildlife, and the very air we breathe. Look at a map of Nashville. You can see it on the map. That is where our trees are. That is our lungs on the land. We have scored an F for ozone pollution. If we want to have healthy air for Edmond and our generations to come, then we've got to save these forests that arc around the western end of the county, and keep Nashville cooler and reduce the effects and frequency of ozone pollution impacts. We have to save the entire landscape. Amen? Amen. In 2015, we're adding 2 new public parks in West Meade. Beyond this waterfall, of course, with all this great help, is a cave that, thanks to the good heart of Willie Honegger. Where is Willie? Raise your hand, Willie. We've borrowed the money and purchased 4 acres. It's a mirror image almost of this, and it's so charming. It has a little spring house where there was a dairy was kept. There was a dairy farm there, and it's cool, and you can sit inside, and I hope you'll go visit. It's behind the Bell Forest condos. We borrowed, again, from the Bob Brown Fund and bought land up at Beeman Park, which we're still paying for, hint, hint. 13 acres that Lee Beeman and Metro Parks are helping us purchase, and we only lack a few $1,000s to finish that project. When Susan Castle and Willie Honegger and Cynthia Smythe approached us and asked us for our help to finish fundraising for the Waterfall, they made it really easy because they'd already been giving it a lot of work for a long time. And so, again, we're so grateful. That's the reason we're standing here today. That fact and the fact that TennGreen just can't say no to a waterfall. Shane Dennison, Tommy Lynch, and the rest of Metro Parks Department, I'm thankful for your work every day, for the good of Nashville and for our quality of life. For our Vice President, Bob Tuke, who donates his time and energy to help save Tennessee's natural treasures. I'm thankful for you, Bob. And our small, hardworking staff, if you could raise your hand, the ones that are within earshot, there's a few of them there. Thank you so much. Especially Alice Hudson, who worked so hard to coordinate this campaign. I'm grateful, Alice, for you every day. Real quickly, we got support from the Dan and Margaret Maddox Charitable Fund to create this a coalition of groups to work on this arc of green and try to convince people like Mina and Berkeley and our next mayor that this is the right thing to do for our air, you know, and our water and our wildlife. And I just want to tell you who's involved. Beeman Park to Bells Bend Conservation Corridor, Friends of the Bell Forest Cave, Friends of Beeman Park, Friends of Bells Bend, Friends of Kellytown, Friends of Warner Parks, Friends of the West Meade Waterfall, Radnor to River, Tennessee State Parks and Natural Areas, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, West Meade Conservancy. And if we can't get it done without that group, with that group working on it, we can't get it done, right? So that's a pretty good group. The 200 acres behind us are at risk. There's another 19 that are on the market for sale. They all connect down this long valley to the cave that we've already acquired. We need your help. We've got captured your email. You'll be hearing from us about that. And 2 more quick things. We're almost about to wrap up. I would like for us just to have 1 minute or 2 of quiet. And if you can move in closer, that would be better. So move in closer because that'll be noisy first. Everybody get as close as you can. And maybe you'll be able to hear the trickle and you'll feel more like you're in the woods. And so if we could, just have just a minute or 2 of silence. I'd like to ask if Sandy or Vera would just tell us real quickly about the place we stand and what you might have heard or seen since you've been here. They work with Warner Parks and they're both so capable. They're both reticent though.
While standing here, we've heard chickadees calling and blue jays and chipmunks and a peewee, which is a flycatcher, calling. And of course the water and lots of different birds calling, especially when we're quiet right then. And some babies, some future generations. And this is just a great place for wildflowers too, around the waterfall, the white trilliums and all the different wildflowers. So a wonderful place.
And I know just a couple of blocks over, just yesterday they spotted a bobcat.
Yeah, it's rare for a city this size to have a bobcat still roaming about, right?
It followed my cat in the backyard about this time last year, and then Willie saw it in his yard.
Oh my. I want to invite all of you to join us next Saturday for a party we have called Sunset on the South Harpeth. It's at 3 o'clock. It's on a farm in Williamson County, and we've got information up at the registration desk. And then you can't be in Tennessee and have a group like this assembled without doing a little bit of singing. So I've got lyrics, and if you could share with your neighbor, I have about 20. And we're going to make it quick, and then we'll conclude, and then hang around for a bit and have a glass of wine and a refreshment. But if you could divide that into 2 or 3 groups and pass them around, just every other person or every third person take one.
Just start passing them down.
For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Okay, y'all ready?
It's been a long, cold, lonely winter, little darling. It feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Na, 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 na. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes.
Okay, flip it over.
Thou roll my knapsack on my back. I love to wander by the stream that dances in the sun. So joyously it calls to me, come join my happy song. Valerie, Valerie, Valerie.